Recent Nintendo Switch 2 leaks have shown us perhaps the most surprising news of all. This might be a relatively boring Nintendo console transition. Normally, when Nintendo makes the move from console to console, you can expect a pretty major change. The dual screens of the DS or the Wii U's gamepad. The Switch itself is even a prime example of this, but all signs point towards the Switch 2 pretty much being more of the same. However, the same cannot be said about the controllers themselves. Supposedly magnetic, these controllers I believe hold the secret to what will set apart Switch 2 from Switch 1. Besides the inevitably obvious power increase, these controllers hold the most important new features for the Nintendo Switch 2 and are the main things Nintendo will use to promote their new console. Solving the mystery of these new controllers means solving Switch 2, and today I'm here to do just that. Let's get started. There are two main new features of these controllers, and I'll be explaining them both with timestamps down below. First off though, let's discuss how these controllers will actually work, cause it's quite different from the normal Nintendo Switch. All base Nintendo Switch Joy-Con come with a small railing that acts as the core mechanism allowing the Switch to switch. Whether it's the console itself, a grip, or a third-party accessory, these rails are critical, but it appears Nintendo has found a better method. The new Joy-Con have raised railings and supposedly attached via magnets, likely being held in place via connectors found here. Funnily enough, when we talked about this on our podcast Nintendo Tonight, Mac actually brought up a great point that because these Joy-Cons slide in from the side magnetically rather than using the railing from the top, the new Nintendo Switch trailer intro will probably be something like this, which will take some getting used to for sure. Luckily, this new attachment mechanism allows for bigger Joy-Con, as the railing is a lot larger, leading to the controller LEDs on the front and the SL/SR buttons being way bigger than the Tic-Tac sized originals that were just brutal to use. Obviously, we are basing this all off of these leaks, but it makes a ton of sense. I mean, why would Nintendo randomly announce a charging dock for the Nintendo Switch 1 Joy-Con if not for the fact that they will be unable to be charged with the Switch 2 console itself? We've been hearing rumblings of the Joy-Con themselves being magnetic, and again, there's simply no reason for them to release a charging base for the normal Joy-Con at the end of the console's life, unless for Switch 2 you needed an external way to charge them because sliding them onto the actual console is no longer possible. Okay, so now that we got how they actually work out of the way, let's jump finally into the first of the two mysteries. The right Joy-Con, and the right Joy-Con only, has a new button slightly beneath the home button. This new button is square, and it looks to be about the same size as the screenshot button on the left Joy-Con. However, I refuse to believe Nintendo would ever be that dumb. The only possible reason to add another screenshot button, this time to the right Joy-Con as well, would be so that you could take screenshots when only using the right controller in single Joy-Con play, but that was never really an issue. The much more logical thing to do would be actually adding a home button to the left Joy-Con, as if you have two people each using one Joy-Con, it's a 50-50 chance on whether you're allowed to hit a screenshot or go to the home menu, and obviously the home menu is way more important. If this button was simply doubling up on a previous feature, the much more logical thing to do would be adding a home button to the left Joy-Con. However, if I'm so confident that this isn't a second screenshot button, what could it possibly be? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the social button. The social button will be used to pull up a social menu overlay, which would be perfect for party chats. There's actually some decent evidence backing that up, so let's get into it. But first, all this talk about improving the Joy-Con leads right into this following message. This video is sponsored by NYXI and the NYXI Hyperion Pro. The NYXI Hyperion Pro is a wireless Nintendo Switch controller that has completely become the main way I play in handheld mode thanks to three key features. First of all, the Hyperion Pro just feels good in your hands, full stop. Whether you're putting both sides together in the included grip or you're playing in handheld mode so they're attached to the console, these controllers are designed to be super comfortable, and especially if you have big hands like me, it just makes playing so much more manageable. Secondly, they are reliable. The Hall effect joysticks will never drift in the controller's lifetime. I can't overstate just how big this is. Like, all my Switch controllers drift, but this one I just don't have to worry about that. Add in the 6-axis gyroscope, adjustable turbo buttons, breathing RGB lights, and programmable buttons on the back. The Hyperion Pro is my personal favorite way to play Nintendo Switch, and lucky for you guys, they're going on sale. Today's the first day of the United States Amazon October Prime Day sale, video. And if you're interested, click the link in the description or pinned comment to pick up one of these guys on sale. Never worry about drift in your life and get a boost within your gaming. And thank you to NYXI for sponsoring this video. Alright, let's jump right back into it. This button here I truly believe is a social button that would pull up a party chat overlay. Nintendo has stated that they're looking to keep and improve the Nintendo Switch Online subscription for Switch 2. Ditching the mobile phone app for voice chats that literally no one has ever used is such an easy slam dunk for a console that is in need of new features, as the main gimmick is being taken from a previous console. In reality also, what could this even be? Let's think about this logically. The button's position on the controller itself rules it out for being used in gameplay, and given that the screenshot button acts kind of as a share button already, there's no other real UI feature that needs to be triggered here. If rumors of the Switch 2 featuring a microphone are true, I guess it could technically be a mute mic button, but having that on the controller rather than in the software itself seems kind of pointless, especially considering that having a microphone on there at all would already imply some sort of party system or voice chat. I really do think that there's a very high likelihood that this is some sort of party menu brought up by pressing this button. It's not a button affecting gameplay, as it's only on one Joy-Con. It's not connected to any hardware features, as there's nothing on the leaks that would require a button, and the only software feature that makes sense is a social overlay, as you already have your traditional start and select as plus and minus, the home button, and the screenshot button that covers pretty much everything else between the four of them. If anyone else has any ideas, feel free to comment them down below, but I'm perhaps irrationally confident in this. Hey, if this isn't the case, feel free to roast me down below as well. Before you do though, if you're enjoying the content now, trust me when I say this is the time to subscribe. Our biggest video ever, which we've been working on since April, is releasing soon, and we have so many great videos planned once Switch 2 actually gets announced. Subscribing is completely free. You can always change your mind, and you might think you're subscribed but not actually subscribed, because you know that happens a lot, I guess. The second major mystery of the Switch 2 controllers come from the ports right here. Hear me out, why does this exist? Obviously it's impossible to know whether the Switch 2 in its final form will have ports here that can transfer data, but to my untrained eye, that's what these leaks look like they're suggesting. I think this is because of one new rumored accessory, the camera attachment. The leaked console itself actually has a USB-C port on top of the console, as well as the bottom. Obviously the bottom one is the main charging port and also the port used when you slot your Switch into the dock. However, the USB-C port on top of the console is brand new. It'll definitely be incredibly useful, as it'll be nice to have the ability to charge the console while playing in tabletop mode with the kickstand. However, many have been quick to point out that the separately rumored camera attachment could easily be used through this port, and that just opens up so many opportunities. Older patents have shown a dual screen system, and hey, if there's a second screen to attach, it could literally be slotted in connecting through this USB-C port. So there's a USB-C port on top of the console itself, and the controllers have new ports on where they connect. I would not be surprised at all if a brand new Joy-Con grip with a USB-C port on top, kind of like the charging grip, is released here too, and then you can connect the camera to the grip itself, and the camera will pass the data through the grip into the Joy-Con through these side connectors, which could then beam it to the Switch itself if you're not using handheld play. Obviously the Switch has many different form factors, and if we are getting this camera attachment, there's no way that Nintendo's making it so you can only use this camera attachment that'll probably be pretty pricey when you're playing in handheld. I mean, if you were to just put it on the dock itself, it would be so far away, it would be useless. This USB-C port on the top of the console itself, to me, does not seem like it would be just for charging in tabletop play. Adding a second USB-C port just so you can charge the Switch in what's probably the least used mode of the Switch, while nice, does seem a little unnecessary, and I don't think the added cost of adding a whole nother port to the console itself would be justified if all you can do is now charge your Switch in tabletop mode. Like, instead they should have just sold a little like plastic thing to prop up your Switch so you could do it anyway. Nintendo always likes to have new stuff with their console, even the Switch itself. Obviously we got the Switch handheld gimmick, but we also got like an IR camera. They like throwing in weird things, but the Switch form factor has to be kept somewhat simple so that it can, well, switch. I think this port on the top is pointing towards a bunch of peripherals or accessories, whether it's the long rumored camera attachment and even this second screen, which Nintendo patented and could probably slide on drawing power and data from the USB-C port on top. If they were to do this though, obviously they would have to allow it in handheld play as well. You're not going to make hardware like a secondary screen attachment or camera attachment and then do all of the software work work required for those as well, such as actually implementing them into the games, only for them to not be able to be used unless you're in handheld mode. Luckily, again, I think I've solved the problem of the Switch 2 controllers. I think they can pull data from a new Joy-Con grip, which will also have a USB-C port on top, allowing for a secondary screen above your Joy-Con, kind of like this. Imagine playing a game like Tears of the Kingdom, but having the map on your controller. It's low-key bringing back some Wii U gamepad vibes. And to be honest, I'm all here for it. This is a lot of speculation, obviously. I mean, we have no concrete information confirmed by Nintendo about the Switch 2 itself. We're going off of patents, leaked production images, and rumors that have been circulating around for years. However, when talking about something that isn't 100% confirmed like the Switch 2, the best way to turn some hypothetical ideas into true theories is understanding the mindset of Nintendo. Nintendo has never just released a console that is a pure power upgrade. Even something like going from the N64 to the GameCube or the NES to the SNES, what did they change? The controllers. Gimmicks like the Wii's motion controls and the dual screen system of the DS have brought so much success to Nintendo, and Shigeru Miyamoto just had a bunch of interviews where he basically stated, we do not want to be seen as a console competitor. We want to be doing our own thing and getting fans through that. Switch 2 though is looking like it's going to be a pretty much raw power upgrade. The console itself isn't gaining that many new features. Obviously there's the new button we talked about before, which I think hints towards voice chat, but I think the main new gameplay gimmicks of Switch 2, because again, almost every Nintendo console, they try and make games that sell the console. Whether it's putting motion controls in every single game on the Wii, or using the gamepad's second screen. These new peripherals would allow Nintendo to do just that. That way they're still somewhat playing it safe, because we know the Switch works. It's incredibly successful. They're gonna want to do a Switch 2 that's somewhat similar. The main thing they need to do is a raw power upgrade. And to try and keep the console affordable to the masses, they can't just slap in a bunch of new technology here on top of that. However, weird new technology gimmicks, that's kind of Nintendo's thing, and I think this peripheral solution not only makes sense from a business perspective, but the leaked USB-C port on top to attach the peripherals, the new Joy-Con likely allowing you to use the peripherals in TV mode as well, plus all the rumors and patents we got, I think it just makes sense. This is my theory for what the Switch 2's main big gimmick will be, and I really do think it all comes down to the controllers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video as I attempt to solve the Switch 2's biggest mystery, the controllers. If you did enjoy it and want more Switch 2 discussion, on screen right now is a link to our podcast, Nintendo Tonight. We had a whole episode going over all the leaked images, a lot more than what was said in this video, so click it on screen right now if you're interested. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. I'm Thomas from the Switch Stop signing off. Peace.